Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And we're back to recap episode 21 of Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology, entitled One Bad Day. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
Yeah, Dragon, this episode is really weird for me, man. I'm gonna it's certainly not a bad episode by any stretch. It's very heightened, all right, but to me, watching the episode, it was almost kind of like one of those moments of remember when you hyped up like the what was it, like the second half of season 3, and you were like, Tiki, if I told you what was happening on this show right now, currently, you wouldn't believe me. I'm just like, I'm having a hard time keeping up with all this Jeremiah stuff, Dragon. I don't know about you. To me, the thing I'm kind of having a hard time with is, I think here's the thing. Obviously, it's the same actor. We've got Cameron Monaghan doing both Jerome and Jeremiah. Dragon, call me crazy, pun intended, with the Joker thing, but I'm just gonna go into this as my thesis statement for the episode here, and I'm very curious if you feel the same way. To me, Jeremiah, the problem I'm having with Jeremiah is that performance-wise, and I don't mean quality of performance, I just mean the way that Monaghan is delivering the character. Performance-wise, it's just not as consistent as Jerome. Like, to me, it almost kind of like hovers like from scene to scene almost.
I don't know. I still think it's for a different character. It's been pretty consistent so far. Again, he's very he's kind of restrained and deadpan, and he's kind of the idea what I think they're going for. I'm convinced they're going for, and we kind of get a taste of at the end of the episode, and I hope we're going to pay off in the next episode. We're kind of doing that Dark Knight Returns thing of, it's a Joker who hasn't laughed in a long time. So like when he sees something really funny, ideally when a Batman enters the fray or when Bruce does something really kind of Batman-esque, that's when he's going to really go mad, because he keeps saying that he's not crazy. So I think that's when he's going to put that huge smile and he's going to start laughing and kind of turn a little bit more into kind of, a little more Joker-esque,
All right, I don't know if I can point out specific examples of what I'm talking about here. It's just maybe I'm just so used to Jerome that turning it around the other way, I'm still it's still an adjustment period for me, I guess.
All right.
Okay, so let's get right into it, Dragon. Chaos is going down at the GCPD as we start the episode. Jim Gordon is nowhere to be seen because clearly, Dragon, we've killed off Jim Gordon. Am I right?
Yeah, what they're gonna do is they're gonna call in Clay Gordon to take his place, and that's how we're gonna keep Ed McKenzie in the show.
And then we're gonna get Chewbacca, and Chewbacca's gonna be like, "Hey guys, they killed me off in Solo, a Star Wars story, and it caused this weird riff in the whole Star Wars timeline. But I'm here now to help out, and I speak perfect English now. Awesome."
God. Anyway, in all seriousness, so there's no sign of Jim Gordon, and there's a lot of. But you got to remember, we've hyped up Jim Gordon for the GCPD, and that he's kind of the beacon of hope within the department. So he's gone, so now the department's there's definitely a low in morale going around the place. So Bullock knows that he's alive, and deep in his bones, and like the audience, like, yeah, we know he's alive.
Uh-huh.
But it's still, though, it's traumatic if he's lost his friend. So he's kind of a Bullock. He's in charge, de facto in charge, because he's the ranking detective. But post the Professor Pig stuff, the last time they followed Bullock as captain, a lot of the GCPD got slaughtered, and they're really not trusting Bullock. Thankfully, Harper, and a little nice moment with Harper where she acts like a real Montoya. She vouches for Bullock, and she kind of rallies the troops. Okay, guys, we got a job to do. Let's do it. Jim trusts them.
We need to talk serious here. Bullock is almost as cool as Ivy. Almost, all right? So we need to take this seriously, because if someone's almost as cool as Ivy, we need to follow their lead.
Right, so then Alvarez informs Bullock that Jeremiah is he wasn't at the site. Bullock, he's outside.
I love Alvarez's like he continues on the show to get no character development. He's just that one-off, like, hey, we need a named cop to deliver exposition. The GCPD Alvarez is our guy.
And that's the thing, Tiki. That's exactly what he serves, because he basically pulled a character from the New 52, basically a cop character from the New 52, just a memorable name, Alvarez, and honestly, I think they like the actor, J.W. Cortez. It's like, hey, that guy, he was an actual, he was an actual. I believe he was a Marine, as well as he's an actual NYPD cop in real life. That's what he does on the side. So it's like, we like this guy. Let's keep him around. Let's make sure we don't kill him off, but we'll threaten to kill him off a couple times. Just keep him around.
All right, so Dragon, I guess one of the things, kind of like one of the big, I can't believe what the hell am I watching type moments for me in this episode was Jeremiah's followers just chanting, Jeremiah, Jeremiah. I don't know. Was that as surreal to you as it was to me?
I mean, it definitely kind of got a response for like, oh man, he's going for like the uniformed approach, and that's just kind of like this guy's really overcompensating that he is sane and that he turned all the maniacs into kind of organized, kind of uniformed characters. So I mean, it was definitely odd. I'll give you that. It was odd, but it kind of I buy it. So essentially, what we're doing with Jeremiah here, and you can see in the image before you, folks, it's really cool. I really love this tee because with both Jerome and Jeremiah this season, what we've done is there is an '89 Nicholson vibe about both of them, but in very different ways. So in the case of Jerome, Jerome was very much kind of the one of my favorite scenes in '89 with the Joker. He's the I want to paint the town crazy. The Joker is just basically it's just Jack Nicholson having a blast where he's going through the museum and he's like defacing art. That's what we get with Jerome. And what we get here is kind of the complaint people have with, and I mean this in a negative way. I'm just saying, the thing people point out with '89 is that okay, it's just it's Jack Nicholson, not much of a change from the Jack Napier to the Joker, where it just has a cosmetic difference, and that's kind of what we do here visually. We give him the wide brim hat and everything. He looks a lot like the '89 Joker, and that's fun. But again, in tone and exactly how he's playing it, what I love is along with the '89 Joker, we also have for both versions, for Jerome and for Jeremiah, two different takes on a Snyder Joker, because we have the death of the family, removed face, and all the crazy dark stuff with Jerome, and with Jeremiah we have the Endgame stuff where he's just all serious and he's all he's business. Like I'm done screwing around the whole Batman Joker dynamic. I'm just gonna, if I wanted to kill you, I'd just shoot you in the head. That sort of it's the Endgame Joker and the family Joker.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing about Jeremiah is that he wants to create the the Bruce Wayne Batman Joker dynamic, but he's doing so in a very matter-of-fact business type of way.
Yeah, which is very interesting. Again, I tell you, I'm loving the blends that we're doing this season. And our just again, Snyder meets '89 and like 4 different versions of him. It's great. So he basically, and this is a cool thing in what he was doing with the Jim Gordon thing last episode, is that he killed Jim Gordon as like his first act to really set a precedent, to really take the GCPD and Gotham off of its rocker. Where I just he shows up with all of his goons behind him, and he says, "I've killed Jim Gordon. And I have bombs all throughout the city linked to this Dead Man switch." And again, he's doing what we saw Jerome attempt to do with the Dead Man switch, but he's doing it a lot better and a lot more scarily good.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that he's
Brendan's Bullock, that if Bullock pulls the trigger, then boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
He says it with such a quiet menace behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see. So he warns. Basically, he's also there at GCPD to kind of make his grand demand, because again he points out, okay, I have the detonator here. I have all these bombs throughout the city, and he warns that he wants them. And this is so interesting, Tegan. I was really digging this in the writing here. It just shows you kind of a difference in kind of an approach of Joker here, and it was so interesting that he warns the GCPD to evacuate the city within 6 hours. So it's an unusually civil act of terrorism. No one has to die, because he just wants to, he wants to create Gotham in Jeremiah's image, which of course is labyrinthian and in controlled chaos. He wants controlled chaos versus just like kind of artistic chaos like Jerome. And that was so interesting. And he demonstrates with the only victims that, like I don't have to kill anyone else in these explosions. I
hate to go to something so cliche in pop culture nowadays, Dragon, but it is kind of a Thanos-like plan. Because you think about it, he wants to destroy half of Gotham, but then raise the rest in his image.
Well, to be fair, it's I don't know if the half thing necessarily works here, because again, he's going to Well, later on, it's like literally when you destroy something, it's going to like collapse and it's going to like take out the other half. So it's still technically destroying all of Gotham. It's going to make a maze out of it. So it's I don't know.
I'm not sure how I feel about that maze thing either. Is that something that's from the comics? The Joker turned Gotham into a giant maze.
I love the maze thing. Let's hold off on the maze talk. We'll get there a little.
I'm not saying I dislike it. I'm saying that you kind of have to sell me on it, but we'll hold off on that.
We'll get to that. Anyway, so he demonstrates like the only total victims he's taken as the point of like, okay, well, just because I know seeing is believing. He hits another detonator like up his other sleeve, up his other pocket, and boom, the clock tower goes. And of course, there are victims and chaos. I'm like, oh boy, I love the horror on Bullock's face. And then oh my god,
yeah, Donald Logue really. This is probably Donald Logue's Emmy episode of the season.
This is the Bullock redemption episode. That's what this whole episode's about, and he carries it so well.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Babs and Tabs, they're drinking to Jim Gordon's death, and
God,
this is a kind of a funny scene where I love it on two levels. One, Barbara, she has the line, "He always wanted to die a hero," and then what I love most here is that in the wake of the idea, of course, obviously he's not dead, and we the audience know he's not dead. It's very obvious he's not dead, but. I love that the Penguin, in the wake of Jim Gordon's death, he makes a point of saying, this is kind of like what he would say, I buy it, this is what he would say at Jim Gordon's funeral. He says, that was always Jim's problem. There's always a difference between Jim and I. I want to live.
And of course, keep in mind, the Penguin is, he was season 3's like, hey, we're going to kill off this major character.
Yeah.
Although, honestly, Dragon, as you know, because I was actually convinced of it, the Penguin, for me at least, was more convincing.
True.
I mean, at the very least, with the Penguin's death, like, quote-unquote death, they at least wrapped up the Penguin Riddler story arc with that. You know what I mean? It had some air of finality to it, whereas Gordon is just like, oh, and he's in a random building, and he's dead now.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. Anyway, so a Penguin, he proposes a team up to strong arm Jeremiah's plan, which basically means we will extort Jeremiah for money, which we can then use for Hugo Strange, because Butch is in the scene. It's like Tabby and Butch have this thing. Hi, Tabby. Butch. It's kind of nice, kind of like again, like they're schoolyard children with crushes on each other. It's kind of nice. So let's see. So basically, they're going to extort Jeremiah's plan so they get money so they can find Hugo Strange and have Hugo Strange make a cure. So, Tabitha's definitely like, okay, we should help him out. I want the cure Butch so we can live happily ever after, all that stuff. So,
God, and then we enter this poor man, Dragon.
Yep.
And this guy is, he's had all his fingernails removed.
Yes, John Glure. John Glure is this is funny, folks. I didn't know we were gonna. I really didn't know we were going to, like focus on this because a lot of times we do our research and like we go to IMDb and we find the names of these ancillary characters. And I looked up this guy's name, but we called him like the sword juggler because I just figured no, this there's never in a million years they can actually like bring this guy back and give him a name and everything. And they talk about the name that he had and everything, but no, I mean, we have a line later on by Jeremiah that makes a point of revealing this guy's name. It's like, oh my god, yeah. So John,
let me just point out, fingernails are like I don't know, like they're one of the most sensitive. Like it's kind of like the limb removal thing with you, Dragon. Fingernails are my thing. It's like
it's the whole. I can't stand the whole finger being removed. That's terrifying. Again, shape of water. Terrifying.
I would honestly maybe rather have my finger. I would rather lose one finger than have all my fingernails removed piece by piece. I'll say that much. That's how much I dislike the fingernail thing. Anyway,
one, you just have to wear gloves all the time. The other one, you'll need like the gloves with like sewn finger holes. It's weird.
I know, but I just don't want to go through the process.
All right. Anyway,
it's like with losing the one finger, it's just a chop and it's done.
Okay. Anyway, enough of the removal talk. Anyway, so point is that they have John Glure, and John Glure has like some information they can use against Jeremiah, which will definitely pay off later on. Meanwhile, Bullock, he's selling Mayor Pritchard. Of course, Peter McRobbie, the actor, plays Father Lantom on Daredevil. So Bullock's selling Mayor Pritchard he has to sell Pritchard on the whole, like, we got to evacuate the city plan. Meanwhile, Bruce and Bullock have a really nice scene. Oh my god, it was a really good scene here. Where Bullock again, these characters have barely interact. Usually, it's like Bullock's just kind of the third wheel in the Jim Bruce scenes. But yeah, this is a really nice moment where again, it kind of hit me in a way, like like them kind of coming together over the potential death of Jim Gordon here, where he comes up to him because again, Bruce.
Well, it's almost kind of like the the Infinity War factor where this isn't permanent, but man, it's kind of emotional anyways. The resonance is there.
Yeah. So Bruce is Bruce was kind of. You saw he was taking off his game when Gordon was killed because he cares about Gordon. He's like, no, at the graveside. Now he's going to Bullock and say, is it true? And Bullock's kind of starting to feed him like a triumphant line. Says, Jim Gordon, he's going to be detective. Don't lie to me. David Mazouz, he's really delivering it in this episode. This scene and a scene.
Telling you, man, it's because you gave him the phantasm.
Oh, I could only hope. Anyway. So, Bullock, he's direct with Bruce. He's respecting him, asking him, like, don't lie. He says, it's not looking good, kid. So, Bruce, just to boil it down a little here, Bruce fills Bullock in, on the bomb thing and the insanity gas. And, Bullock's definitely a little frustrated with this. Oh, these Valesca boys, they're killing me. So, then he reveals, so you can tell him, he helped co-design the bomb with Jeremiah, which means, hey, we got the schematics to the bomb. Wayne Enterprises.
I love this moment with Bullock, where Bullock's kind of like, he's taken aback a little bit by the, wait a minute, it's a Wayne Enterprises device. And at first I think he kind of delivers this like he's kind of pissed, but then he realizes that it could be used to his advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So then we have this beautiful bit with Bullock here. Bullock tells Bruce, Bruce wants to help. I said, no, just I get it. You feel guilty again because Bullock also feels guilty for things. Again, the clock tower, the GCPD, all that. And he tells Bruce, look, I get that you're guilty. Just go to Alfred, be with Alfred. It's what basically honor what Jim would want. It's like it's what Jim would want. Go. It's it's such a sweet moment. Of like just honor Jim Gordon. It was kind of
nice. For sure.
Anyway, so as Bruce is kind of processing that, because again, Bruce is feeling really guilty. Oh my God, I helped destroy Gotham unintentionally. Oh boy, what was me? I'm not saying it's
Alfred, but it's not Alfred.
No, because he tried calling Alfred last episode. Now Alfred's picking up, and that's not going to be good. Bruce gets a call from his old pal Jeremiah. And Jeremiah, I love how friendly Jeremiah is on the phone there. Just hello, Bruce. How are you? And he's just asking you, like, hope you didn't get too cold in that grave because they aren't really designed for the living. So again, I like that he has a mirthless humor about him. That he's friendly. And again, Tiki, you're absolutely right. I love that while we're doing a lot of endgame stuff with Jeremiah, I do like that by the same token, we are building the friendship and we're building that you're my very best friend, Bruce. All that stuff that he's.
Well, and I like that, unlike most of the comic interpretations, I say most of them because I'm sure there's some exceptions to this, but most of the comic interpretations, it's really kind of the Lego Batman of it all. It's the Joker having the love affair with Batman.
Yeah.
Whereas this, at least there's some precedent for it. There's history there, which is one of the benefits of doing a prequel show is that you can kind of like embed that history into the mythos.
Exactly. So he reveals that he has Alfred, and he makes it clear that Bruce is not dead. He absolutely makes it clear that you're my best. Bruce, I meant what I said. You're my very best friend. I don't want to kill you. And he says, if you want Alfred to live, though, you're going to go to this address alone.
I don't want to kill you. I just want to hurt you really, really bad.
Thank God he's not playing that Joker.
God.
So what I love the undercurrent here, Tiki, is I love that he's trying to help his friend transform, and it's sort of this. Again, it's sort of this kind of almost this fourth wall kind of moment in the series where it's like I'm just I'm. He has this Snyder-like fixation on Bruce, on Batman. Again, like that, is like, hey, I'm going to try to help him, and in helping him, I'm going to transform him like the show wants to transform him into Batman eventually. So I'm going to help him along there. So again, like Death of the Family is the fan base saying we don't like Batman as part of like the Bat family, as part of the team. So Joker's like, yeah, I agree with the fans. I'm going to try to kill the family. In this case, it's like, hey, we want to get Bruce to Batman. I'll help out with that. So that's kind of like the friendship.
Exactly. Hey guys, I'll give you the assist.
I mean, I love how in tune they are with that. And it's just really cool and kind of meta. So
God.
let's say, so Jim, meanwhile, so Jim wakes up, he's alive, he's alive.
No, what a twist.
Yeah, we didn't blow him up. So
God.
Jim wakes up with an IV in his arm. He's in the Narrows in Lee's care. Big surprise there.
So, according to the writing, the Riddler had Gordon followed and the Riddler's men pulled him out. What do you think about that, Dragon? Are you buying this?
We did set up that Riddler had eyes on Jim Gordon. We did set that
And
up.
we
So
did set up that the Riddler kind of had this whole network of people, too.
that's what I'm saying. So because of that, Tiki, I buy it. Otherwise, I would be raising eye because again, that's the thing. Initially I was like, "What?" I mean, like we didn't see him get like dragged or anything. Like didn't seem to like pass out afterwards or anything. But I don't know. But again, they had the line to cover themselves. So I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
Yeah. All right.
So so let's see. And here's one. Tiki, I like this episode, but there's this one line that I feel is kind of faulty. I think there are two issues with this episode for him. One logic issue and just one line that kind of bugs me. This is the line that bugs me. So I think Jim says, "I'm surprised you didn't kill me. I'm surprised too." And again, I think Jim has a line towards the very end of the episode where it's like he and Lee have kind of gotten past their stuff, and as we have the whole conversation between Jim and Riddler, they've kind of gotten past their season 3 stuff, and now it's just they're in different places and they've accepted that. But why are we still calling back to the season 3 of it all? Where why would Lee want to kill Jim?
Well, wait, I thought the line was, "I'm surprised he didn't want to kill me," referring to Riddler.
Huh? You know what? That's a smart that fixes that. But I don't know. I could have sworn they had it the other way. But I'll hope it's your way.
But Dragon, I mean, we all know why Lee would want Jim dead, right? Because he murdered Mario.
He loved me.
God. Anyway.
Okay, no. Anyway, so regardless, however that went, just I don't know. I'm hoping it went the way of like Riddler because that makes a lot more sense. Anyway, so Jim, he's sedated and he's not going anywhere because Jim Gordon sedated means he can't just walk off defiantly like the big hero, and he shows Lee the blueprints as he's kind of been kind of out, doped up with painkillers. He looks, look at the blueprints I snagged from Jeremiah's stronghold. So she sees this and she walks up saying, "Get some rest, Jim." As like he's like, "Hey, come on, let me help." So anyway, so Jim's kind of down for the count, resting up after post explosion.
Okay.
Meanwhile, what's going on?
Let's see. We got Jeremiah and his followers, Bruce is explaining that Jeremiah and his followers have Alfred to Selina. And we have this great bit with Selina, Dragon, this wonderful little exchange between them, where Bruce is once again just, "Selina, I owe you one, thanks so much for helping me out." And Selina just stops him and very matter-of-factly, she's like, "Bruce, I'm going to be here whenever you need me."
It was so sweet, and I love that we're building that up with Selina, given what happened. So I really thought that was a smart move, and I love that. Because at the end of the day, and again, Tiki, I can't speak to how up to date they are on any research they're getting from the Batman comics, but again, all this stuff we're doing with Batman and Catwoman in the comics right now about their relationship, it's feeling very in tune with what Tom King's doing with that, where it's like, hey, Selina's just like, after all these years of cat and mouse, Selina's just kind of speaking her mind that, hey, I'm going to be here whenever you need me. Nice.
So Bruce is kind of pointing out that Jeremiah does not want him dead, and Selina's skeptical about the whole best friend thing, as anyone would be, but point being, Alfred's in there, we need to get him out.
Yeah, and I love that Selina is his backup, and she's kind of surveying the place as, again, like kind of sneaking into the place as Selina can do. As Bruce walks in, then we begin the killing joke of it all.
Oh, Dragon, this was, they did it, man. They did it.
And it was so, I loved what they did with the Killing Joke stuff. I really did. And I think it all came together at a certain point. But I like that even before that, I think they were still winning me over on it. He walks in the facility, and we see Alfred. Now, Tiga, this is cool. I love that because Jeremiah, it's a great motif with him, and it's a very Snyder-like motif. I'm not saying like directly from the Joker that Snyder wrote, but I love that we're kind of mixing a few things here, where his gimmick is labyrinths, his mazes and labyrinths, and we did Killing Joke, but instead of a hall of mirrors, we have a hall of projected images on walls. That's a labyrinth that is leading.
I bet he got that idea from going to Universal Studios, Dragon.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Anyway, so again, I love that we have this. Basically, what we're doing is instead of the Killing Joke of it all, folks, is that simply we switched out Jim Gordon, who gets tortured by his daughter, who has been paralyzed and victimized by the Joker very brutally. And basically, Jim Gordon goes through essentially the seventh circle of hell for all intents and purposes.
Uh-huh.
And in this case, we put Bruce in Jim's position. We're trying to drive Bruce mad, kind of directly trying to drive Batman mad, and just prove a point to Batman as it was in the book, which is not bad.
No, I actually think as an adaptation goes, it was a pretty ingenious way to kind of swap places, swap characters around, not have it be so explicitly sexual so you can get away with it on TV, but still have it hit hard. I was really impressed by it.
And what's also kind of cool too is that Gotham it kind of balances this thing now and again, where a lot of their stuff they have wiggle room of that. Okay, years later, we could still do this again with Batman, but of course now we could actually do it the whole Jim Gordon and Barbara
Gordon. Because it's like poetry; it rhymes.
Essentially, so we could basically there's a point where and when you get into Gotham, you realize okay, we just got to take it as it is, and just like okay, to show we're never going to see the full-fledged Batman until the very end, so might as well just do all the cool stuff here because that's what kind of reimagining it is. And again, for all intents and purposes, that is true, but it's kind of nice when you have some wiggle room in a few places like this,
Sure.
Anyway, so Alfred's projected on the wall like the tortured Barbara Gordon from the comic. Meanwhile, Riddler and Lee, they're having a little discussion. How's it go?
Yeah, well, basically, Riddler's pissed that Lee wants to save Gordon.
Yeah, because Riddler's plan is he wants to hold Jim hostage for clemency, where Lee wants to trade Jeremiah's plan for clemency, which means we got to work with Jim, we got to work together.
Uh-huh.
The Riddler is questioning if Lee has feelings for Jim, and this is kind of course, we're rooting for these two crazy kids to get together.
But at the same time, this is kind of showing signs of like, oh no, another Kringle is going to happen. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. So, Lee wants to protect the Narrows and get out of their legal trouble. Which again, Lee has a good plan, but I like that.
Can I just say Lee has had a fantastic arc this season?
He has. I
mean, I know we've been hyping it up, but just like from beginning to end, top to bottom, it's been such a transformation from how bad she was in season 3.
Oh yeah, she was awful in season 3.
And we hate to say that because we love bringing it back her in. It's nothing against the actress.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, Riddler, he makes a point where he says, okay, look, I still want to do my plan, but I'll do it your way. But I'm doing it for you. And then she kisses him and she says, do it for us, which is so nice. Delightful. It's going to end horribly, but it's so delightful.
Uh-huh.
So the evacuation, they're continuing the evacuation. Importantly, they're really building up bridge and tunnels, Teak, and that's going to be important going into the next episode, I get a sense of. So there's a lot of bridge and tunnel talk. Meanwhile, Lucius is telling Bullock about just to boil it down here, Lucius tells Bullock
kind of like lays down the blueprints on the table, kind of lays them out for him.
Yeah. Basically, the main points are that he tells him about the core relay. He has a blueprint for the core relay, which basically it's kind of like the brain of the device. Basically, this thing is what all the bombs are connected to. So we destroy this, that means they have no connection, which means basically all the bombs are going to be kind of useless, and we just find them, store them somewhere, it'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
So Jeremiah with some red gloves on, again, kind of Cesar Romero-esque.
Yeah, for sure. And that is kind of a sense I'm getting of Jeremiah, is that it's almost kind of like a grab bag of different Jokers, which to me, Dragon, might speak to my consistency issue.
Well, again, T, a lot of that though is just visually. I think there's
no. I know visually. Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. I kind of wish that they'd more kind of pick a style for Jeremiah and stick to it a little bit.
I think I'll say this though. I think the point is they're going through so many because they're trying to get to the ultimate version where it's going to be the most Joker-esque they can get, which we're kind of getting a little bit of everything, getting to like whatever their ultimate version is going to be.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, let's see. So Jeremiah, I love this shot here. Jeremiah's watching Bruce on this little kind of closed circle. I love you see these things a couple times, but not so much anymore because I guess it's very outdated. But again, I love in the timeless setting and kind of in Gotham, like the vaguely timeless setting in Gotham. He has like this TV, you pull by the handle, and the little monitor he can watch Bruce on. It's in black and white. It's really cool looking. He envies.
Oh, Bruce, I envy you.
You're about to have a very transformative experience.
I love that line. Love that line.
I know, and again, he's kind of thinking back to his own transformative experience. And a part of me wonders if psychologically it's that. And again, the thing I'm theorizing with Jeremiah is that Jeremiah, the insanity gas, the crazy gas that Jerome sprayed him with, it unlocked his inhibitions. Therefore, the crazy was there under the surface, and this just unlocked him. And Jeremiah, he's touting off that I'm sane and that he's perfectly sane. That's the difference between him and Jerome. So basically, it's a guy kind of in denial of his own insanity. And a part of me thinks that when he says a line like that, it means I wasn't transformed like deep down I hoped I was. And I think in this experience he's going through with Bruce, he's going to realize I'm the crazy one and you're the sane one. That's how it's supposed to go. I'm not supposed to be sane.
I
don't know. We'll see. So he gives the order to kill the butler, and Penguin and Company.
His plans are rudely interrupted
by Penguin and Company appearing and Jonglier holding the core relay hostage.
Now, I think Penguin's kind of got this dirty dozen thing going on in this episode. He's kind of got like a magnificent seven samurai, like odd bunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he kind of does. So, so again, they kind of have is that my beloved? Is that my dear Jonglier? I love he has like a pet. I love he has a big fondness for the guy. That's something I love that he took the time to kind of get to know all the henchmen. I love that.
And it does speak to Jeremiah's style, you know what I mean? It's like Jerome kind of just treated everyone as pretty terribly for the most part.
He did.
But Jeremiah, he's a step up, man. He's the boss that's also your best friend.
Yeah.
All right.
Like undercover boss, only with more murder.
Oh God.
So let's see. So the Penguin and Company, they had
just Giglet sketch in the making. Speaking of folks.
Yes, folks, if you want to see another excellent take on Joker and Harley Quinn, watch Joker and Harley Quinn versus the Real World, a Just Giglet production. It is a sketch in a long line of other fantastic sketches. The only difference is this is a web series, so it's serialized. It's great. It's kind of the best of all things when you think of Joker and Harley Quinn. And basically, it's to take Joker and Harley Quinn. They've moved to L.A. Watch episode 5. That's the best one, and that's the one we need to get to 1 million views. We get to 1 million views, we get more episodes, so we can say maybe that one's going to be our new favorite. So check it out. Just Giggle it, folks.
All right.
Plug.
Back to the action. What's going on?
So Penguin and gang, they have their own demands. So they want and we cut back a commercial, and the demands are this. They want Jeremiah to give the mayor an extra hour, and in that extra hour, demand that the mayor give them $50 million. And essentially, it's a good plan. I got to give Penguin credit here. The plan is, Jeremiah is the smokescreen; he's the villain, so it's just a madman asking for more stuff. While Penguin and Company, they get away scot-free without any undue attention. They can leave the city in the evacuation with the money. So Jeremiah, surprisingly, especially the Babs. Who again worked with Jerome in the beginning of season 2, so she's really put off by this. Jeremiah agrees very civilly. He says, "Okay, $50 million. That's what you want, sure." Babs is questioning this, knowing Jerome, and he says, "Well, that I'm different than my brother. I'm sane, I'm not crazy, and I'm much smarter than him." And also, I love that you can see a bit of insecurity on Jeremiah because he has to be better than his brother. He has to be, so he keeps hyping himself up like that.
Well, I feel like with his character, he's scratching at the surface of professionalism. He's like so desperate to be the consummate professional, and I feel like that's ultimately going to be his downfall in the end.
I got a little headcanon in this scene where I love to think they captured the random quality of the Joker, where Joker is like it's kind of the old Denny O'Neil take on the Joker that Just Giggle It does very well, where it's a Joker who you don't know what he's going to do, where he could do something horrible to you, or he'll or he'll give you like $1 million if he bumps into you on the street and he sees your shoe. This is Danny O'Neill's famous quote: "If you run into the Joker on the street and he says he likes your shoes, he might kill you because he likes your shoes, or he might give you $1 million because he likes your shoes."
God, that's perfect. That's a perfect way to sum it up.
That's been Danny O'Neill's analogy, and that Joker is random. That's what the animated series of Mark Hamill did all the time as well. Like, it's a random Joker who's terrifying because you don't know what he's going to do. And I like to think that he calls up the mayor. He makes the demand. He's walking, he's walking forward, and of course he's walking forward to a place where he has kind of a contingency. But I like to think that as he's calling, making the demand, Penguin and company, they're saying like, we're not really gonna let him blow up the city, are we? He says, no, of course we're just gonna after we get the money, we'll double cross him, kill his guys, and we herald as heroes. It'll be perfect. And again, good planning. I love the Penguin's planning process.
Yeah, I mean, Penguin, I feel like throughout the course of season 4 hasn't been able to do as much scheming as he has in his good old days and the Penguin Umbrella days. So this is a nice return to form for that kind of stuff.
Anyway, so the mayor puts him on hold. At least Jeremiah says, would you believe it? They put me on hold. He's a safe distance away. So then he reaches for a rocket launcher.
God.
And he blows up his beloved John Glure.
And that's one way to solve the solution.
That's all the problem. He blows up John Glure and the core relay.
The Killmonger thing.
I'm sorry?
Oh, the Killmonger thing. He literally kills the leverage.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. So here's the thing. I honestly, a part of me like to think, with the whole randomness of the Joker quality, if they were doing this here, I'd like to think that he legitimately called the mayor, and had he not been put on hold, he would have just given in to the demands.
Exactly.
That's what I like to think. I like to think he actually would have beckoned to the demands, but just because he was put on hold, and he was right. He's like, close to
well. Sorry, guys, I don't have too much time to waste here, but hey, I did my best.
Rocket launcher.
Give me a call. We'll have lunch Tuesday.
So again, I just love to think that's the case. Regardless, again, it's still pretty clever. Like, he took out the leverage they had, and they said, "What are you? Are you crazy? Why does everyone insist that I'm insane?" No, I just have a backup plan that John Glure did not know about. And now he says, now I'm going to detonate the bombs ASAP. As soon as I'm far away and in safe viewing distance, I'm going to blow up the safe. And Barbara's saying, "You promised." And whose fault is it that I changed my mind? Again, a great response.
Yeah.
So basically, he commands his men to rewire the bomb. So now, basically now, they're linked to just his one device now. So he's rewire the bombs and kill these idiots. So Jeremiah, he gets away.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, let's see. So now we're in the killing joke of it all here. The one bad day of it all. So Bruce is in the maze. He's in the. And again, Tiki, yet again, we've kind of gotten a vague allusion to another horrifying maze, another quarter. That's what the Snyder of all.
A little bit, very vague, but it's kind of there. You're right.
I'm just saying, with Jeremiah, they've been doing basically all the Snyder maze stuff that they didn't do with Core of Alice. We're doing it all over the place with Jeremiah. So I'm very happy that we got the maze stuff. And later on, they really hit upon it the way I've been waiting for them to do it the whole time. We'll get there. It's a really brilliant idea they do with the maze thing later on. Anyway. So Jeremiah, I love that he pre-recorded all this stuff that he's telling Bruce, very much like in the book, how Joker is in another room with a microphone talking to Batman, telling him exactly what's being said on this pre-recorded message about the one bad day philosophy.
Right.
He tells him, I'm sorry, T, you want to tell him what the one bad day thing is?
Oh, let's see. Hold on. Let me find it. Does it start with, "I believe I've seen something very special"?
I mean, well, let me just. I'm not wrong. I know we say that later on, but I think I forget if it said in this thing. What he says though is, all it takes is one bad day. My brother believed that it just takes one bad day to drive the sanest man to lunacy, which is right from the book. That's right.
Yeah, sorry. I'm overcomplicating it. My bad.
No problem. But yeah, that's the line. It's the big sell line from the book, and that's something that we set up with Jerome saying to his brother, and now we've kind of taken that. And
then he kind of goes into, "I believe I've seen something very special inside of you as well."
Yeah.
But to free it, you'll have to lose everything and everyone you hold dear.
There we go. That's right on the money. Right. So Alfred, so basically what we see on these screens. So I believe now, okay, so we had like a really horrifying thing when Bruce walked in earlier. We had this horrifying thing with poor Sean Pertwee. He's strapped to a chair and he's being.
You met this man.
Yes, I did. I gotta tell you, it was.
Have like a first-hand account of like, oh man, that poor nice British chap that I met.
Yeah, and he was really nice too, because he talked about Gotham and all sorts of stuff, and like we talked about Elementary when he was on that. I mean, yeah, he was really nice. It's like seeing him torture like this was really.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. It must have been kind of traumatic for you.
I mean, you gotta imagine, literally. So when Bruce first walked into the place and the first projection came on, it was just Alfred screaming like ah.
Oh,
And now what we're seeing now is like then we have the projected maze effect where we see on all the walls where he's walking through there and Alfred's being tortured mercilessly, where he's like being beaten using these dentistry tools on his face. It's like, oh my god. And yeah, so then Jeremiah is saying the stuff that you just went through there. And a part of me feels when he says he saw something special and he wants to bring it out, a part of me, Tiki, thinks that in addition to the whole friendship angle, I think that's in some way, and Cameron Monaghan did confirm this in an interview, so I'm not far off with this, that he wants he wants to regain his brother in a way through Bruce, that he sees a bit of like the brother he always wanted him, the brother he always wanted in Bruce. That's a cool idea.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, in a way, he's trying to get his brother back by driving Bruce, crazy. And he wants to be it's so creepy, dude. He wants to be the sane one in the relationship, where he wants his brother to be he wants Bruce to be the crazy version of his brother. It's so eerie. So we revealed the Scarecrow.
Dun dun dun.
Scarecrow's making a little.
I don't know. Like, not to skip ahead or anything, but let's just say there is one big thing with the Scarecrow that we have been speculating on all season that we didn't get to see, and I'm kind of bummed out about that.
Technically, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. However, I do like that we kind of got the moment, so we kind of we'll get there when we get there. So we reveal the Scarecrow. He's mixing a little something special for Alfred, and Alfred is sprayed. And I love this how this is so clever here, where Bruce is shown something that he's been told about. He's shown the whole the Jack in the Box that sprayed him with the insanity gas. So he sees Alfred sprayed with what he assumes is the insanity gas as Alfred begins to go mad and he's laughing. And so again, this compels Bruce to run because he knows what this stuff has done. Of course, it's a misdirect. Of course, he hasn't been sprayed with insanity. Well, this guy probably has been sprayed by insanity gas, but the point is it's a misdirect for what's actually being sprayed, really. Anyway, more on that later. Meanwhile, Jim and Riddler, oh boy, this is a great scene. Take us through this fun scene.
All right, so let's see. Jim and Riddler are kind of beating up, in a very civil way. It's almost kind of like, Dragon, you know what it is? I have a perfect analogy for what it is. It's the ex-boyfriend and the current boyfriend meeting up to help move furniture.
Oh my God, yes. So Jim and Riddler, it's a reluctant team up between the two lovers, the two former and current lovers of Lee.
God. So they're coming together to kind of help out in the common cause to stop Jerome, but really all Riddler wants to talk about is he wants to just wag the whole like, haha, I'm with Lee thing in Jim's face. And
I love how
nonchalant Jim is about it. It's like, if you think I'm not going to entertain the notion that you think you're diluted enough into thinking that Lee and you are a couple.
This is so fun and kind of dark, too, because you got to remember, Tiki, Riddler, what he's gloating about here, he stole Jim's happy ending. Quite literally, he stole this from because he put him in prison, then, they lost the baby and everything. Riddler did all this to him. And in the end, he got the girl that he took him away from in the first place. So Riddler, in the end, it's so sadistic when you really think about it, Tiki, what he's done to Jim Gordon here. So, and again, he's being so petty, and he's lording it over Jim's head that he's with Lee. And I love that it takes Gotham being at risk and the Riddler being, no, Jim, this isn't the GCPD. I give the orders, so I want to talk about this. So he's just being so ridiculously petty. I love that it takes that. It takes Gotham being at risk, being kind of held hostage by Riddler wanting to gloat about Lee for Jim to open up about his feelings. And I love how honest Ben McKenzie is in the performance here, where he says, where he knows, where basically he tells the Riddler, okay, this isn't real, you're not really, with.
I mean, he knows that if anything else, Lee's probably just using him. Like, he can see that Lee's not above doing that.
Yeah, I love that Jim, as we set up ever since the beginning of the show, Jim's really good at reading people, and I love that Jim being the consummate detective here. What he does is he calls. I love how he kind of has riddlers go because remember these two guys they had a whole thing where Jim would entertain him by solving the riddles in the very early season.
Yeah,
So like
yeah, they were like they kind of had the nice sibling dynamic going on there.
yeah, and I love that Jim kind of throws in Riddler's face that even Riddler knows that it isn't real. That's why he needs the valid. That's why he needs Gordon's validation. He needs him to
Exactly,
validate what's happening
exactly.
because even you know it's not. He profiles him. That's so clever. So, but again, in the end, Jim he says that he accepts Lee's change, and then this bit on the rewatch really cracked me up. It's so funny. We forgot about this where he says, I've accepted Lee's change, and however you think that she's with you, and whatever way that she's with you, and then Riddler has this line. He says, "Oh, Jim, she's with me in every way," and this is what cracks me up
Oh
about it.
God.
Here's what cracks him about it. Ben McKenzie, what he does, he takes a beat. He takes a beat where you see him process it, and just like you see how disturbed he is by him saying that line, just for a moment. Then he gets back. Anyway, he goes back into what he was saying. Is she wants something. Then Riddler tries to make the killer point by saying, "Well, hey, she can never be with the killer, yet she's with me, and she was with you, who's killed a lot more people than me."
Uh-huh.
And then again, Jim kind of gets his goat with that line. Maybe that's why she's not with me now. Nice. Again, I just love the animosity between lovers here. It's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. So they're working together again. This you got to remember, too, this is the first time they've worked together
Oh,
since season.
I know. Since the whole since the big betrayal in season 3, yeah.
And then, I guess to kind of spiel along a little, Riddler reveals, and this is kind of the big idea I was really hyping up before the labyrinth here. So we reveal the 3D labyrinth map of it all. Or basically, Jeremiah, what he's done here, as Riddler kind of exposits for us, it's quite brilliant, is that when the bombs go off, they're placed at such a strategic point that they'll collapse and they'll basically form Gotham into a maze. And what I love about this is
like a domino effect, right?
essentially, yeah, domino effect that will basically like certain blocks of Gotham will be kind of filled by collapsed building, therefore making a maze out of the entire city.
Uh-huh.
And this is a great mix of two things in a million years I never would put together, but putting them together makes all the sense in the world, and it's great, and it fits what Jeremiah is going for. Is that we taken this brilliant idea of it's a controlled no man's land. We've taken no man's land, which is sectioned off and everything, and now we're giving a reason for the sectioning off. A labyrinth. And again, it's kind of combining No Man's Land with a Scott Snyder, kind of labyrinthian maze idea, and and it fits the whole controlled chaos method of Jeremiah. So it made a lot of sense. I loved it.
Sure, sure.
I'm really digging that idea. And again, it's mixing things in a really creative way. And of course, then we see this.
I mean, I think this episode does a lot of good stuff, like with the killing joke of it all, with the labyrinth essentially going into no man's land. I really like how it's an adaptation in the best form, where it's like it's not exactly like the comic, but it is kind of hitting the same basic notes as the comic does.
Yeah. Also, we have this really cool visual shot where we link up basically they have like a map where basically he folded out the sections of buildings. So like they show basically it's like a 3-dimensional cool like little cardboard map, and we show the link up to the city outside the window with the cardboard map, which is really neat.
Uh-huh.
So Riddler, so basically, okay, he's learning what he needs to learn here, and then Riddler reveals kind of the plan to leverage this information to the mayor, saying, "Okay, you're not going anywhere. We still got like ransom this off to the mayor for clemency." Tiki, what happens?
God, hold on. God, I'm sorry, Dragon. My notes are kind of.
All right. So what happens is Jim. Okay, so obviously Jim's not a fan of this whole leverage thing. What he does to get
basically Jim, doesn't he threaten to like hold it out the window or something like that?
No. It's much funnier than that, Tiki. Oh my God! What he does is he says, "Hey Ed," before Riddler's about to leave. "Hey Ed, could you come over here for a second? I think there's something about this I don't understand." He says, "Just one thing." I think he gives a little too much credit there. He gets real close to it. Like it's such a casual moment between Ben McKenzie and Corey. We're saying, I love how whispering. He's like,
punches him square in the face, right?
That's the thing. He gets him close to. He gets him close
like,
to.
no bullshit. You're just like, all right, you know what? I'm done with this. Screw the word.
He's lovely. He tricked him over, saying, "Hey, can you explain this to me?" Gets him over there. Again, the Jim Gordon solution to it all. When in doubt, punch a guy in the face. It's the Gordon solution.
That's kind of what I'm talking about, Dragon. There's so much going on in this episode that I kind of miss little gags like that along the way.
So funny. I was laughing so hard. So our rogues are bickering mid-firefight. You know, they're blaming us on
relay. He says, "Have the upper hand." He says.
Penguin, Butch is like, you better fix this household. I know, fix it, yeah. So he calls Bullock, and he calls Bullock, and we have this gunfire gag where Tabitha's like shooting like a guy crawling on him.
Just like kind of like thrown off guard, like, is that you, Oswald?
And he basically says that so Lucius can put the tracer on, or like listen on the other line, I guess. And anyway, so he warns so Penguin warns Bullock about the direct sequencer and the fact that he's going to, as soon as he's far enough away, he's going to use the direct sequencer to set the bombs off. So Lucius, he hears this like direct sequencer, and he knows exactly how to disarm it. So now he can disarm it, and basically it's the simple way that Lucius explains it here is that it's like Christmas lights. If you defuse one bomb, you can break the sequence. Therefore, none of them are going to work. Like one bulb breaks the whole light string of light. Yeah. Let's see. So Bullock and then we have this really sweet bit here. So again, now they know how to disarm the bombs. It's a question where the bombs are. Jim walks in. Jim and Bullock, they reunite. The GCPD's a flutter. Like, hey, there's that Jim Gordon guy. The interesting guy.
I love the Bullock and Jim hug, man. It's so earned. I mean, even though again, it's kind of like the Infinity War thing. We knew that Gordon wasn't going to stay dead, but god damn it, it was an emotional moment and a good payoff.
We don't care,
Exactly.
It's so sweet though. Where
you know what? You're gonna literally just like play with our heartstrings like that, but it was a good, it was effective.
I still love just the running gag that we've kind of set up, Tiki, where Gordon's like the most interesting guy in the GCPD. He's gone through, like, we're building the mythology of Jim Gordon, where it's like, you gotta imagine guys at the water cooler of the GCPD are like, remember that Jim Gordon guy? He went from, just like the optimist, like, he killed Penguin, and Penguin came back to life, and he was a PI, and then he's coming back to the fold. Now he's the captain, then he's dead, and now he's back again, man. It's just so crazy, the mythology of all the crazy stuff that Gordon's been through.
Gordon.
Anyway, so it's a really sweet bit where you saying, buddy, and then, Jim, it almost gets me where Jim walks up to him and he gets into a hug and he says, easy, big fella. It's really nice.
Right.
So nice. Anyway, so then
that count, Dragon.
I love this. I love it when Jim shows up. He presents, not only does Jim just show up and like, hey, he's alive, he shows up with a solution that they're looking for. Hey, guys, here are the locations to all the bombs.
Nice.
So Selena, let's see. So Selena, meanwhile, she
the Scarecrow, right?
Yeah, she encounters two of Jeremiah's goons and the Scarecrow. And then we hint. I love visually we hint at the fear gas that's being pumped in. Where again, I think it's pretty obvious what's going on here. But I like that if you weren't familiar with the Scarecrow and the fear gas of it all, I like that you can see the visual clues about what's going on here.
Sure.
So basically, fear gas is being pumped into the room below that Bruce is running around in. Lucius, basically, she's like encroaching on them, and they're about to get into a fight. Meanwhile, Lucius is working on a plan as Bullock, basically working on the disarming plan as Bullock goes to meet the bomb squad outside of the bomb location. And Jim says, "Look, Bullock, you don't have to do this. Jim, I really need this." Again, he needs to make up for the stuff that he screwed up at the beginning of the
and again, like I said, this is Bullock's Emmy episode this season, and I really appreciate that. Donald Logue definitely delivers.
Yeah. Okay, then we have Selena fighting off the goons, and it's really cool. There's this one bit, Tigger, where she's fighting the goons, and she uses one of them as a shield against the Scarecrow's fear gas, and he's terrified. That was a cool moment.
Right.
And then a moment that was just Antique. I love this, and I love the promos are kind of suggesting this too. Each time we check in with the Riddler, we're doing more. Each time we check in with Scarecrow, we're doing more fan servicey stuff because now he has the scythe.
Yes, he has the scythe. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Like before, again, like we did like kind of the Arkham version of Scarecrow, and then we did kind of a more comic version of the Scarecrow. And now we're giving him the scythe, and it's going to keep getting better and better.
Right, right.
Essentially, that's what I think they're doing with Jeremiah. I think we're kind of doing that too. Again, we're doing that with Scarecrow. I think
I
it's
mean, you're not wrong. It's just with Jeremiah, I feel like the style is a little all over the place, whereas with Scarecrow, they're kind of just adding things. And I'm
right.
not saying that what they're doing with Jeremiah is bad. It's just I'm more anxious to see the end result of Jeremiah.
I hear you on that. Yeah, it's definitely kind of an anxious thing. All right.
All right.
So anyway, so then Scarecrow is kind of defeated. Like he brings a scythe down, misses, and you got to remember Scarecrow's not much of a physical fighter. So outside of that scythe, doesn't really have much left. So he leaves and he tells Selena, "It doesn't matter. The experiment works. Soon your little friend will go. Basically, your little friend will lose his mind. He'll go mad. Essentially, just your little friend's going to go mad."
Which brings us to probably the biggest scene of the episode.
So Bruce, well, we're getting there. So Bruce is exposed to the gas, and he's in a panic. And I love this really
He's
trippy
kind of got
effect.
his hands over his head, like the famous "ha ha ha" frame from Killing Joke.
Yeah, that's really it is really neat, and I love that we
Uh-huh.
have a lot of frightening edits here. We see the projected image on the wall, like grows teeth and stuff. It's all really scary and weird. So then, now Tiki, this is a big moment from Death of the Family. I don't know if you remember this. This is a big moment from Death
Oh,
of
I
the
do,
Family,
I do.
where of course Alfred, in general, with Death of the Family, Alfred was a huge centerpiece. The Joker abducted Alfred like he did in the previous episode. With Jeremiah abducted Alfred in the previous episode for this. Where Alfred went missing, and that put Batman off his game. But also in the midst of that story, there was a nightmare. There were two scenes. One was a nightmare in which Joker wore Alfred's face. It was all about the whole face removal of it all. And he basically was in Bruce's nightmare, and like laughing as he was trying to kill Bruce. And ultimately you had Alfred, kind of a Jokerized version of Alfred in that book. And that's exactly what we have here. We have with the insanity gas,
We
with the
get the
laughing.
face cut in that book, Dragon.
Do we have what?
The face cut.
Well, I mean, yeah, we do have a lot of face removals in that. Yeah.
Well, I know, but like, did Alfred specifically, does he cut his cheeks like in this?
No, he doesn't cut his cheeks like
Okay,
in
I'm just
this.
saying, like that in itself is kind of like a great sort of like callback to the whole like, do you want to know how I got my scars of it all?
Well, that's directly what's.
It very much visually reminds me of Pan's Labyrinth, Dragon.
Well, the cool thing about that, Tiki, and if I'm not screwing up my history here a little bit, is that what we have with Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, that grin, that kind of specific type of Joker grin you
Right.
have there with the cut smile, is called a Glasgow grin or a Glasgow grin. If it's a Glasgow grin, that's an English thing, which again makes it even more kind of appropriate for Alfred, honestly. So that's the thing. So horrifically, we do like Alfred kind of on laughing gas, going crazy essentially, and he horrifically. And I'll say this to you, I would honestly say after all these seasons, this tops the Fish Mooney eyeball for me.
As the most gruesome thing ever in the show.
I think so.
But I think it's a lot more classy and a lot more emotionally relevant than the Fish Mooney eyeball.
True. And basically, again, because they've always we intimated this in the Dark. We never even showed this in the Dark Knight. And then here we just see, and this is what terrifies me more because basically it's limb removal, more accurately, fingers and straight razors. They kind of make me on edge. And he pulls out a straight.
I do not like my straight razors trick at
and
all.
Tiki, he pulls out a straight razor and he puts it in the mouth and basically he does the Glasgow's grin while laughing after it. And Bruce and David Mizzou in this scene, the following scene, is where he gets me. He's like, oh my god, poor Bruce and David Mizzou. I mean,
it's almost kind of like having to watch the watch the family member with suffering a mental breakdown or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we cut back from Alfred, laughing hysterically at Alfred, continuing to laugh hysterically. And this is the line from Mizzou's as the performance that wins me over. I mean, basically, I think is Mizzou's best performance in this episode here. Where I love the despair on Bruce Wayne when he's horrified. He's suffered a really traumatic thing he's just seen before him. His friend, his father figure, like basically make himself into like a horrific image of madness right before his eyes. And that you got to Alfred, you could save him, but no, he's lost his mind. And he cuts the smiles on his face. And the way David says this is, Alfred, please stop. Just the desperation. Yeah. That's what breaks my heart. It's like, oh my God, this poor boy. Look what's happened to him. He's so traumatized. And then, of course, using and if this is pulled from any comic, it's in the comics. It was before the Dark Knight. Grant Morrison, who again created Professor Pig, who's known for doing really gruesome and
Yeah,
really
he's known for his very visceral, like body horror type stuff. I'm not surprised it's a Morrison special.
like Morrison. He did the cut smile in the comic, so it
Right,
was like
right.
he and Brian Azzarello, I guess those are the two guys who did the cut smiles, right like up to and right before the Dark Knights. It was kind of a question like who got there first, but they got there technically first. Anyway, so yeah, so he attacks him with the straight razor, kind of cuts his shirt for a moment. I love this is a great glimpse of this sort of fight, Tika. This sort of fight with the straight razor and this madness before us right here. I love that it's a little glimpse of the future for Bruce of what his life is going to be as Batman fighting the Joker.
Sure, sure.
Really great. Um, so let's see. So all throughout this fight, he's begging. I love that he's not fighting. I love that he's not punching Alfred or anything. I love that he's not fighting Alfred. It's his blind spot. He can't do it, and he begs a mad Alfred to stop. Like Alfred, stop. Stop this, please. And we play with the reveal as this is going on. Selina, she sees the fight happening on a TV screen, and she hears like a banging coming from a closet. We have a man with a bag on his head. Oh, I wonder who it's going to be. Let's see. So she shuts off the gas main, and then unlocks the door, and we have the masked hostage, bag on his head, and then we have Alfred with Sean Pertwee with a terrifying line. Here.
Yeah, he really is just digging into it in this moment.
Come on, Brucey, give me a smile.
Oh God, oh God.
It's so, and I love this too, T. And this is a subtle reference I really loved here, where the position that Alfred had, like Jokerized Alfred has Bruce at right now. He's like hanging him over like the edge of a balcony or something. And it's very much in the Dark Knight position where we had, Joker about to cut smiles in the Batman's face in the climax of the Dark Knight. So we're homaging kind of like the Dark Knight of it all right there.
Right, right.
It's really cool, like the whole he's and honestly, it's kind of a similar solution too as to what happens in that scene too. It's kind of I was saying someone going over that balcony. So he tries to reach Alfred. It's very intense and it's really real tension filled. And right before he's about to cut into Bruce's face, bang, shot in the head, and he falls again, falling off the climax of the Dark Knight. And Mazuz, the way he plays, and you gotta remember, Tiki, it's a pivotal moment in the story, as it was for Jim Gordon in the book, where you have to believe that your guy might have gone insane in this moment. Where I don't see how Bruce could come back from this for a moment here. Like, oh my God, he's so traumatized. He's like, no! As I've seen Alfred shot in the head and falling to his death, bleeding out, like his parents.
But then, no, it's revealed that Alfred's just fine and Bruce was hallucinating, right, Dragon? It was a different guy that Bruce was fighting. That was what was going on.
Yeah. I love that building.
That was one thing I was kind of mixed on, is I wasn't sure if it was Bruce was fighting with himself or if there was actually another henchman that he was fighting. Can you clear that up?
Yeah, here's what happened. So before that, too, I want to mention this. I love that there was this really nice, and again, this is her earning her place in the episode here for what ultimately happens with her. I love that we have this really nice, tender scene with Selina where she looks at Bruce and she reassures Bruce that it was all a trick, that it was all manufactured. And then again, like that, I love that starting to calm down. I love that Selina had a very proactive role in the episode. And then we see Alfred. He sees Alfred. He checks the body and says, "No, Bruce, don't look down there." Of course, as he looks down, it's it's like a stunt double. It's a lookalike for Alfred, who is not. It's not Sean Pertwee, but it's like a guy who could be like a stunt double for Sean Pertwee. They got a guy who looks enough like Alfred for Bruce to fight. I don't know how much this guy was prompted beforehand, but they sprayed this guy with the insanity gas, so he would attack Bruce. And Bruce has been hallucinating that it's Alfred because Scarecrow knows what Bruce's fear is.
Right.
Yeah, I figured out he's the master of fear, all that stuff.
All right, fair enough.
And Alfred and Bruce, he says, "Look, Bruce, it's me, it's Alfred." And then they have a reunion. It's a really sweet moment. They kind of, it's kind of like that moment from Killing Joker. Batman hugs Gordon, saying, "It's okay, just let it come." It's like, oh boy, it's beautiful. Yeah. All right, Bullock.
Yes. 1 sec. Okay, so we get to Bullock and Lucius are trying to evacuate. The traffic's all jammed up. So Bullock kind of wants to take matters into his own hands. He goes in.
Yeah, Lucius, he goes in the building alone because the SWAT team can't get through the traffic. So Bullock's
Uh-huh.
there alone. So they have to disarm this bomb ASAP because again, the minute Jeremiah is away, and they don't know when that is, he could just detonate the bomb when he feels like it.
Uh-huh.
So Bullock is basically being talked through the defusal of the bomb, and as he's doing that, the bomb activates. And okay, so the GCP
One
is
second,
listening.
Dragon. I'm sorry. I'm kind of. Can you?
Keep going.
Yeah, please.
All right, sure. So the GCPD are listening in, and as they're doing that, of course, it's a real tense thing. It's like you see the community within the GCPD like rooting for Bullock and really afraid their guy they gave a hard time is going to blow up. Meanwhile, we intercut this so we kind of mount the tension here. So as Bullock he's kind of working through defusing the bomb. We see how close the bomb is being detonated. Where Jeremiah is in the bunker with his followers about to share in the moment of glory here, and then we have so time is running out and we cut to Bullock. He finds the two breakers. As Lucius has told him, okay, there's going to be a breaker. You sever the breaker, you save everybody. And now he sees, oh my God, there are two identical breakers.
Uh-huh.
So it's a big gamble essentially because again, there's no way to tell these two apart. And Lucius isn't there, so like there's nothing else that can really Lucius can't help him here. So Bullock has to make a big choice. That could either set off all the bombs simultaneously or stop all the bombs simultaneously. And I love this. I love that Jim kind of helped Bullock out here in a little way, where he delayed the detonation. Where right before Jeremiah detonates the bomb, Jim Gordon's on the TV, and this is in the hysterical. There's a little Ben McKenzie here, how cocky he is here, where he's on the TV, he's alive on the TV, and he says, "You may have." I'm addressing Jeremiah and his followers.
I want to see the process of how this went down. I want to see like Bullock or Gordon arriving at the police at the news station. Like, hey guys, I want to make an announcement. Can we get some lights here? Can I get some makeup? We need to make me look good.
So I love that he's saying like I'm addressing to the followers of Jeremiah. Basically, if you were told by Jeremiah that I had blown up and I perished, that I've died, well, bad news, I'm alive. I love that line. Well, bad news, I'm alive.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. And basically, he calls out Jeremiah's kind of poking the bear here. He calls out the pale imitation. He calls him a pale imitation of Jerome. You did your worst, and I'm still here. Now, Tika, I love that line, pale imitation, because I know it's not intentional. It's just mainly the fact that he looks all pale now. But I love that. That's a huge that's a huge thing from Endgame. Call me because the Pale Man of Gotham idea. I just love that whole. It's a little it's a little East deep cut reference, I guess.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm sorry,
yeah,
I just I kind of like dealing with a thing from work out of nowhere, so you've got like half my attention right now.
right. Let's see.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just like, oh God, it's kind of like a work emergency right now, so I'm kind of caught between things. I don't mean to be rude.
All right. Anyway, so the followers start doubting Jerome, and he snaps at him. And well, before he does that, he demonstrates with the detonators. Says, okay, look, guys, let me push the detonator and show who's really delivering on their promises here. And as he hits the detonator, like as he's about to, Bullock, he basically does, thanks to Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. And now he picks here. Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Get your tiger by the door. As he does that, he by sheer luck, he gets the right one. So, folks, when in doubt, Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, if you got two choices to make, it works wonders, apparently. Jeremiah looks very bad as he hits the detonator.
You do realize what other famous comic book character in a current TV shows use that, right?
Which character, Tiki?
Negan from The Walking Dead.
God. Really?
Yes. He had a whole bunch of people lined up, and he's like, I simply cannot decide which one of you to kill. And so what he does, Drag, because he's got like the barbed wire baseball bat. So he's like pointing the barbed wire baseball bat, and he's like, Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. I'm not making this up.
God. All right.
Anyways.
So Jeremiah's looking really bad in front of his followers. And then we have, again, we're having like a rare smile here. So, I think they're building to like when he really truly loses. Because right now he's starting to kind of look. Again, Jeremiah had it all planned out so wonderfully, and his plan's been subverted. We kind of see the madness start to come out from him here, where he basically kind of composes himself after that smile. He says, I just want to let you all know I find your fickleness hurtful and predictable. So as he leaves the room, he basically reveal the place is like, I don't know if it's like an old bunker thing or I mean, regardless, he booby trapped the bunker. It's either he's booby trapped the bunker or it's like it's an old school like kind of a crematorium chamber, which those things do exist. Like they have like these big rooms for you when you can like kind of cremate stuff. So however that works, he hits like the purge button outside of the room that he locks everybody in. They're all cremated essentially. They're all kind of immolated and they all they all burn. Disappointing. How like he says like how disappointing.
I'm sorry, Dragon. Allow me to make a really dark joke, all right?
All right.
Hitler ovens! Get your Hitler ovens here! Everyone wants a Hitler oven!
Wow, that is really dark.
I got it from some jerk with a camera. Anyways,
I love that he's not freaking out after this. I love how kind of callous and scary he is in saying, "Oh, that's disappointing."
Yeah, he's just like literally like staring into the flames, like, well, that's what you get for double crossing me.
Yeah. All right, let's see. You want me to keep going?
Oh no! I'm sorry. My business is wrapped up. I'm sorry about that.
All right, take us through the aftermath at the sirens.
Okay, let's see. So at the sirens, they're all kind of they're all having a drink to celebrate. Tabs is like, well, this day did not go as planned. I didn't kill nearly as many people as I thought I was going to kill. Let's see. Barbara is warning Penguin to limp out of there while he still can, and Butch is not coming with. Butch is he's done with the Penguin game. And Butch doesn't even he's calling Penguin out basically. He's like, you know what? You're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. You don't even know where Strange is. You can't help me.
But then he reveals that he does in fact know where Hugo Strange is. Which is not happy, but he reveals, I just found it out. And so here's the other flaw I have with this episode. It's nothing that kills the episode, just saying in the grand, it's more of a plot line thing than an episode thing.
Well, plot hole.
Yes. Basically, like they reveal, like, yeah, I know where he is now, but how do we pay him? And then, of course, Tabitha comes up and says, I can be very persuasive. And here's the thing, there's like kind of a hole in the writing here in that, well, yeah, Penguin, why would Penguin pay Hugo Strange? Just intimidate him and take what he wants. It's what he's, basically, why didn't he think about doing that in the first place?
Right.
And the issue is like, before they made it sound like, okay, they needed to use the money to buy a lab and not pay for Strange. I mean, I don't know. It's like kind of a weird inconsistency, I guess. But I mean, in the end of the day, it might be that Penguin wanted to be like the sophisticated kind of criminal in that regard, which is consistent. So it's a minor thing, but it's kind of a minor hole in that plot line for me.
All
right, let's see. So Jeremiah, he's preparing his revenge plot. Like, well, I got to start again. And as he's doing that, Ra's al Ghul appears, and boy, oh boy, Tiki, I love this scene.
This is honestly kind of the thing that sent it over the edge for me. It's like, all right, we're really kind of convoluting the waters here with this team up a little bit. I don't know how you feel about this, but to me, like Ra's al Ghul and the Joker are two characters that don't really coexist very well together.
Here's the thing, that's the point. There's this really great story called The Demon Laughs, where Joker and Ra's al Ghul teamed up, and it was really interesting, and that's kind of what they're kind of reminding me of here, with those two teamed up. And it's always the thing where we saw a little bit of this in Under the Red Hood, the animated movie, where Ra's al Ghul hired the Joker because he needed to distract Batman. And he realized, of course, Joker in that story, he killed Robin where that was like going too far for him. So he realized I just needed a distraction. Basically, he wanted to use the Joker to do something. Of course, in retrospect, he very much regretted that because Joker's a wild card, but Ra's al Ghul, in his infinite wisdom, thinks he could just target that wild card. And of course, at the end of the day, what Demon Laughs is all about too is that he teams up with Joker for something, and Joker double crosses him when he thinks he has like a control over him. So anyway, so it's kind of a fun little. It's a very rare team up. It's a fun pool for me. So
my whole thing is that Ra's al Ghul is just kind of I mean, here's this thing, Dragon. When I brought this up, I knew you'd have like some obscure comic pool to counter it, so I'm not surprised by that. But to me, just my issue is like Ra's al Ghul is more of like a mystical figure, and the Joker is more kind of like I don't want to say he's more realistic than Ra's al Ghul, but the Joker is more about kind of like the chaos of it all. So I don't know. Like for me personally, we'll have to see where it goes. I wasn't necessarily thrilled to see them mixing it up, but I guess I'll just kind of keep my expectations in check for it.
Well, let me say this, and there's more specifically. Again, it's not just like, look, I love the Demon Laugh story. It doesn't mean necessarily it's a good pull. What I like about this specifically is that Raish, absolutely, I buy even more so than the Demon Laughs, because the Demon Laughs is just an excuse for a really good story. In this case, I love that Raish believably could make a deal with Jeremiah, the sane Valeska brother. He could. I can buy that more. That okay? He says you're tenacious. I like that. So again, he's trying to bargain with a sane man as far as Raish is concerned here. Now I buy this team a little bit more than I had in the past, I guess.
All right, Dragon, we should wrap this up in the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, we're almost to the end. So he basically, so just to boil down a little here, he proposes a team up to realize Raish's vision of Gotham in flames, which again is he says, I can get you what you want. You want Gotham in shambles. And basically, there's this great thing where Jeremiah pulls a gun on me, shooting him, and he disappears. Again, basically pulling bad exits left and right. It's pretty neat. And it says, like, I can do it alone. Why do I need your help, whoever you are? And he sells him with the fact. Oh, by the way, before that, I love he says, you're behind me, aren't you? I love that. I hope he didn't shoot him after that, because like he just knows, okay, I'm not going to bother you. You're going to be behind me, and I can't shoot you.
Right.
So Raish sells him on this fact, and this is what really hypes me up for this team up. It's not just about Gotham; it's about Bruce Wayne. And of course,
yeah. I mean, you're right. It is kind of like that is. They do kind of have Bruce Wayne in their crosshairs, both of them. So I can see that. I guess now that you're bringing up that point, I can, we'll see how it goes.
All right. So then we have a quick scene
about it, but
Then this next scene is big setup for the next episode, where Jim and Lee, they have a little moment of thanking each other, and Jim offers her kind of not clemency, but he gives her an offer: leave Gotham. Leave Gotham, leave it behind, and he basically says, look, we can't change the past, what we've done to each other, but we can. I can't pretend to recognize the person I see before me. We're very different, but by the same token, again, Ben McKenzie's really good in this scene too. I don't want to undersell it, but he's good in this scene.
For sure.
Says, but at the end of the day, I care about you a great deal. I always will. And she walks away, and again, Lee's kind of processing this, and very importantly, Riddler witnesses this.
Oh yeah. Almost like well, I'm sorry. I was about to make an obscure Westworld joke, but I'll spare you.
One is Riddler witnesses this, and this is a big setup for Riddler's going to have some feelings about that in the next episode.
I have a feeling.
Meanwhile, the GCPD, take us through this bit here at the GCPD.
Well, yeah, it's very simple. The GCPD, Bullock walks into the GCPD, and he gets a nice round of applause.
Yeah.
And I love it, Dragon. I love it. It's very much a redemptive moment for him.
I like this Bullock and Lucius hug, too. It's just all hugs all around this episode.
And Lucius has definitely carried his weight as the, at the GCPD.
Yeah. So then we had the big final scene. And boy, oh boy, this is a great finals. I love this scene. This is where it all comes together, folks. This scene right here. So Alfred invites Selina to stay for dinner, and he leaves the room for a moment. Bruce and Selina, they have a moment where, Bruce thanks her again, and thanking her, he says, look, I don't know what I do. Sorry. I don't know what would have happened without you there. And then, they finally share a kiss. It's been many a season since they've shared a kiss. It's been a long while. Raish interrupted the last one. Raish.
I know, come on.
What do you got against romance, Raish? Then she says, you're welcome. It's a really nice, really sweet scene. And then here's where folks, I'm so excited. It's so good. Where she ponders, why do you think he's so obsessed with you? Then he echoes the one bad day philosophy. He believes in takes one bad day to drive the sanest man to lunacy, and perhaps he sensed madness in me from the death of my parents. Maybe I have a little bit of potential for insanity in me, and he sensed that in me. Well, at least you proved him wrong. And then Tika, this is the bit like, yes, oh god, it's so good. Where a moment passes, and then we hear, and Tika, this is the best line of the episode. One of the best lines of the season. I love this line so much. We're off to the side, we hear Jeremiah, who's just appeared in Wayne Manor, say, to be fair, the day's not over yet. Right, Selena, like, she's right in front of him. Bang! Shoots Selena almost identically where he shot Barbara in the book. Like, most likely a spinal shot. Just shoots her. Like, he shoots her in the stomach or in the spine, one of those two places. Shoots her. She's down. And Tiki, just like the book, she lands on the coffee table. Shatters the glass coffee table. So boom, we do Killing Joke in the last few seconds. Like, they do the big traumatic moment from
So it's
Killing
basically
Joke.
like this episode is almost kind of like Killing Joke, the Memento version.
Yeah, kind of is. Yeah, so he drops the gun, and I love this. Like, we drown out all the sound. It's such
All
a
that we
big
need
moment.
Hawaiian shirt, Dragon. If they had the Hawaiian shirt, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, so that's more Jerome's flair. Like Jeremiah's more like he's the 3-piece suit guy.
Right.
Anyway, so he drops. I love that he drops the gun because he doesn't have to do anything else. He just and to ruin Bruce Wayne's life here, I got to drive him insane. I'm going to shoot the woman that he loves, and then Alfred, he rushes. I love this while the sound's being drowned. Alfred runs and tackles him and just punching him mercilessly in the face, beating him senseless.
Oh yeah.
That's the ending. Wow. My God. It's dazzling. Okay. Speculation. Well, the promo then, right?
All right. Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of let's just kind of go through this as quickly as we can because I really want to end in the next 5 minutes or so here, Dragon.
All right, sure. So, okay, here's the promo. Essentially, we see Selena's in the ER, so she's not quite dead yet, but we don't know what. Again, she could be paralyzed.
Well, let's call a spade here. All right, this is another Gordon situation. It's like they're not gonna kill Catwoman.
Well, yes, I have a theory though. T, just go with me. I'm just saying whether I think you're right that in the end she's going to be alive. We'll get there. So Selena's in the quite maybe. So that's the thing. So Selena's either could be paralyzed or again be on the path of a last.
I like the paralyzation idea. I didn't even think of that.
That's the thing, Tiki. Again, if she's
you're right. I mean, it is a Killing Joke. I don't know why that didn't cross my mind.
What's the point is, I'll get into when we get into speculation. We're just going through the promo for a second here. So Selena's in the ER. We have a lot of really concentric explosions, like taking out the bridges. We have Jim beating up Jeremiah in lockup. We have a big battle with Penguin and Babs and Tabs and the whole gang. There's a big battle going on against Ra's al Ghul. And let's see. Bruce is claiming that Gotham is his responsibility. We have a big kind of another promo. I saw we have Riddler versus Jim, so definitely paying that off. So Riddler's going to be going against Jim Gordon for his revenge for Lee. And I guess lastly, we have a big callback to There Will Be Light, which gets me really excited.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, speculation.
That's like almost kind of like the thesis statement of the whole show, or at least Gordon's character arc.
I know, that's what I'm saying, Tegan. We're getting like they kind of named it.
Of course, it's kind of like going back into the whole idea of like Gotham like losing itself to the badness. That's what the whole that's what
basically what Jim was saying to Bruce after his parents.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I'm saying that's what No Man's Land is all about.
Yes.
All right.
So, okay, speculation. Let's big things. So, I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I said I've got nothing. I'm sorry. I'm just
okay. Well, here's the biggies here. Tell me what you think of it. So, one of my big theory going into this, and it might be a little different, but I still wonder this. I wonder if Ra's will offer to heal or revive, depending what happens in that ER. Because regardless, even if she's paralyzed, she could still Lazarus Pit could still heal her, Tiki. So, Ra's might offer that as a way, and this might be a big play on Ra's part. Like, hey, I can earn Bruce's trust and train him if I do something for him, such as like helping Selena Kyle after Jeremiah has done something terrible to her. That's my big theory there. Jeremiah, as we know, still has a few bombs, and he's blowing the bridges, which absolutely blowing the bridges, as we've seen from The Dark Knight Rises, creates a no man's land situation. So that big no man's land that right there. Let's see if there's anything more pressing, and we'll just we'll get to the end here. Let's see. We'll definitely have the villains dividing up the territory after this race battle. I'm sure. And one thing with the Lazarus Pit, we could Ra's and Jeremiah teaming up. Again, the motivation is probably going to be to transform Bruce into Jeremiah's equal, not in the way Jeremiah thought. So instead of making Bruce crazy, it's going to be okay. at the end of the day, he'll basically, if I turn him into the Dark Knight of Gotham like Ray wants, that'll be my perfect equal. That'll be my intellectual equal rather than my crazy equal. And I guess lastly, I'm convinced we're going to end the season like this. I am convinced we're going to end the season with Jim in a hopeless position, in need of help more than ever to save Gotham. We're going to end the season on Jim Gordon's failure, with No Man's Land happening, Gotham falling to pieces around him. Like Jeremiah probably disappears, and like the explosion, one of the bombs, like he'll be back again. It's like all this. I think all that's what we're really building to it. Jim Gordon.
That failure is something that we've been talking about for the whole season. Kind of the whole idea of it's going to take a low of lows on Gordon's behalf to need Batman, because Batman is going to be a necessity. And that's where you really have to sell that whole concept.
Absolutely. And also we should mention this because it's important.
Yes,
Gotham.
Yes. Can you allow me, Dragon? Let me.
Oh, yeah. Tell him.
So, folks, I've been saying all season that it feels like, as much as I've been enjoying season 4, I think season 4 might be the most consistently good of the seasons that we've had so far. It feels like, with all the Batman stuff, with all the road to Batman that's been paved, that we're kind of nearing an end game for the show. And I was kind of fearing, like, I really don't want this show to be dragged out like 6-7 seasons. Like, in a perfect world, I think season 5 would be the end point. And Dragon, look, I don't want to celebrate a show being canceled or anything, but it's been confirmed that season 5 will be the last season for Gotham, and I must say I'm a happy Tiki about that.
Well, you gotta remember, Tiki, it's not cancellation. I mean, they're telling them they're letting them know so they can end it, Tiki.
No, I know. Yeah. I guess I shouldn't say, like, I'm not one to celebrate a show ending, but hey, like I said, it's ending on its own terms. So yeah, Dragon, I'm very happy with this news. I'd honestly be even happier if it was a more short-term, like 13 episode season, just so they could really get to the nitty-gritty of it and really kind of tell the best story that they can for the final arc with the least amount of filler.
I will say this though, here's the thing: Gotham's going to be coming back later than it usually does, which implies the 13 episode theory might be more true than we're unsure if it's good. They know they're going to get to the 100 episode mark, which means 13 episodes at the minimum. And you 12 or 13 put them at 100 episodes. And it could be for a 22 episode season, but I really think they're going to go for 13 episodes, Tiki. I think that's what they're going to go for.
Yeah. Right. And of course, we have Pennyworth also maybe on the horizon as well, but we'll see about that one, folks.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks out, Dragon.
Well, final thoughts, Tiki.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm trying. It was good. I don't know.
All right. Okay. For me, it was
killing me here on this time thing right now.
All right. It was a really good setup episode for the finale. It was a clever reworking of One Bad Day, clever reworking of a number of things. I feel it's a good episode for Bullock redeeming himself after the pig blunder, and it's really solid. So remember, kids, no matter however dark and scary the world might be right now, there will be light. There will be light.
Until next time, when we go exploring Gotham yet again.
All it takes is one bad day.